Hi guys, so we know that there's a driver shortage resulting from the pandemic and of course Brexit. Richard Burnett, the head of the Road Haulage Association, was interviewed about this problem by Kate Burley of Sky News. He talked about how the Brexiteer plan to hire drivers from the army will only scratch the surface when it comes to dealing with this problem, and how there is confusion within government to whether the army will actually be deployed. He highlighted another problem. The scramble for drivers means that those who can pay will get their hands on staff at the expense of other industries. He raised the point of how refuge collection is suffering due to haulage companies and supermarket chains luring drivers away with bonuses and higher wages. This means that councils, which are already on a tight budget due to 10 years of Tory cuts, will have to spend more money to make sure that rubbish is collected.
Hearing this news as you are, that the army have been put on standby because we have a shortage of lorry drivers, 100,000 lorry drivers short. That's the scale of the shortage. DFT, Department for Transport, are denying any knowledge of this statement. So whether or not this is a statement that's come from Downing Street to say that we're putting military on standby, I guess we're trying to get some clarity from that. But
You're trying to get some clarity from that because what normally happens is Downing Street release a statement about, or they leak information to the public saying we're going to try and do this, and it's an attempt to see how the public will respond. If the public respond in a positive way, then it gets implemented. If the public respond in a negative way, then it doesn't get implemented. That seems to be how Boris Johnson's government operates at the moment. They don't actually have any plans. They have ideas. Release it to the public. If the public response is positive, implement it. Otherwise, don't.
There are only 2,000 registered HGV drivers within the military. About 40% of those are actually territorial army. So this really isn't going to scratch the surface at all or give any reassurance that as things get worse during the summer, as drivers take more holidays and we've got no drivers to backfill, that this is really a resolution to the problem at all.
Is it the pink-demic or is it Brexit?
I think it's a combination of two things. It's COVID. It's the impact of COVID and losing so many HGV driver tests. We lost 40,000 tests last year. We had an intake of 15,000 drivers last year, normally about 40,000. So that had an impact. Brexit has definitely had an impact where we've lost EU labour back to the EU. And it's that perfect storm where these elements have come together and we have insufficient drivers to now cope with the demands and volumes as we unlock from the COVID pandemic.
And where the hell are the opposition here? Why are the Labour Party not attacking the government over this? Why aren't they challenging the government? Where are all the heavy goods vehicle drivers? Why aren't you changing the rules so that these can be rehired? The industry is suffering at the moment. Industries are suffering at the moment. And we hear nothing from the Labour Party.
And what might the ramifications of all this be? I mean, we've seen empty shelves already. Is it going to get worse?
It's getting worse now. We're seeing the impact in the supermarkets. Drivers that drive refuse vehicles are being attracted away by higher wages. We're seeing significant wage increases in many sectors. And we really need government to wake up and realise that the only short-term solution here is to address this through the shortage occupation list, the Home Office shortage occupation list, and with temporary visas to allow us in the short term to get additional labour in while we train a UK-based workforce, which is going to take at least 18 months to tackle.
And there you have it. The industry itself has the solution to the problem. Ease the restrictions, ease these immigration restrictions, allow drivers to return, and then in the meanwhile, train up British drivers if that's what you want to do. Now, I'm of course a supporter of freedom of movement. I think it makes more sense to allow drivers from the European Union to work in the UK much more freely. It's better for the industry. That's what the industry wants. But as he said as well, this is driving up wages. Now, some drivers are very happy about this. Of course, they're going to get paid more. But somebody else has to pay for that. That cost is passed on to someone else. Of course, it's passed on to the consumer. So ordinary people are going to pick up the bill here. Ordinary people are paying for the consequences of Brexit. As I've said on numerous occasions, the rich, the millionaires, the billionaires who wanted Brexit, who campaigned for Brexit, who convinced the public to vote for Brexit, they're fine. They're not going to be impacted by this, or the impact is extremely minor. The ordinary people, the working class, the poor, those on universal credit, those on fixed incomes, those on zero-hour contracts, they're the ones who are going to be impacted the most by this, because they're going to see prices increase and it's going to make life much more difficult. But then we already knew that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what do you think? As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?